Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm here finishing up Motorsport Madness with the Expo GTX, the KTM card. This card I just got as part of this event, and I won it with the Akula, and I built it. So it took a while for me to get to this point of finishing the event. As expected, things were not that difficult because most of my cars were fully maxed except for the GTX. And the last two races that you're looking at here before we go into the final relay are both using the KTM, and I expected these two to be the quote toughest races. And it looks like, yes, it is going to require more than stage 5 full fusion. You're going to have some strong stage 6s in order for the KTM to make it. So bottom line is they expect you to build the KTM to a decent level for you to finish. 8.351 is not slow. The KTM crossbow is pretty good even without stage 6s, but not that good. Okay, in order to get to 8.1, I'm actually running body and transmission, two of the strongest stage 6s. I also got nitrous and intake, I believe. No, nitrous and transmission was obtained from the races themselves, but body I had to pull. So I also went ahead and pulled some more to just go ahead and get that car built. But in retrospect, I think that was kind of a mistake. Wasted funds for no reason. All right, now final relay isn't going to be super easy, but with 4 out of 5 cars fully maxed, it's going to still be basically a blowout for the opponents. I picked the Huracan because it's fully maxed and it's a good car, easy to drive for me, and I've had it built since forever. The DAGT, the Donkavort, which I don't know, every time I see this car and hear its name, I think donkey fart, but whatever. The Donkavort is, it's one of those cars that's been around a while and was in a few events, and mine is actually fully maxed as well. So again, not difficult. The Akula, you guys saw in the showdown, I used the fully maxed to gain the Expo GTX, so my Akula is fully maxed. And the Porsche prize car was not hard to fully max because it shares parts, stage 6s, with both the Gold Star as well as the Purple Star WISIC package. So I moved one of the stage 6s from the WISIC. I got the rest of the stage 6s already in place, and I pulled 1 or 2, so I got it all pretty easily. So the Porsche, again, GT3 RS, Purple Star, not difficult, fully maxed. The one that's going to cost you is obviously the Expo GTX, and that's expected. And if you get the Solus and you want to max that out, that's going to cost you. On average, it's about $30, okay, USD, 30 USD if you had to go to loyalty to get a stage 6 using parts crates. So you figure sometimes you get lucky. You don't have to go to loyalty for all your stage 6s, but they may be duplicates. But in the end, on average, I would say, lucky, really lucky guys, 70, 80 bucks, get all the stage 6s. Really unlucky, you can look at like 210 to get all the stage 6s. So 210 can buy you a PC game that is probably the collector's edition that comes with a toy, etc., etc. So keep in mind the economy of this game. Yes, you can get some cool cars, but seriously, the cost to actually get it fully maxed can be ridiculous at times. All right, now, so let's go ahead and collect our Solus. All right, so here it is back in the garage. One of the key things to find out anytime we get a new prize car is it any good, right? It certainly looks decent, but a lot of prize cars turn out to be rather disappointing. The Porsche prize car, for example, from the last event wasn't all that. The Bugatti prize car isn't really all that great either. And in fact, all the lock-ins, except for maybe the KTM GTX, are pretty disappointing. What about this car? We just spent a bunch of resources and some money to get to this point. Let's see if it's any good. I'm going to go ahead and test it and see how good it is in live racing, which is what we care the most about. All right, here we are with the Solus GT in a live lobby. I'm going to go ahead and race. I'm going to go back and show you the setup in a little bit, but for the purpose of this test, we're just trying to see if this car is going to be any good in live racing. It should be based on the performance point and Evo setup that is available to this car at this level. Mind you, this is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, new car in the game. And if so, it really should have no difficulty getting around most opponents, because it'll be a higher performance setup with lower performance point. High evo, low performance point, meaning lobby advantage. Now I'm racing another Solus GT for my first race here. He does have swaps and modes. I don't know if he wants to swap. I mean, I'm okay with it. But he ran a 10.5. I ran a 10.5 a little faster. I have more in this car based on the current setup, so I could get more out of this car. But that's an interesting gauge to see where this car falls. Car of the same type, probably with a slightly different setup, but nonetheless, that was a 10.5 run. Now, the lobby itself may be a 10.5 lobby, maybe a 10.7 lobby, maybe even a faster lobby. You'll figure that out by running more opponents, and as you run them, you want to watch where they're at and see if they're in fact going to, wow, this guy's running really slow. You want to see if in fact they will outrun your time or your dyno or not. That was a, yeah. So that car is definitely in the wrong lobby. There's no reason for it to be that slow. That, or he basically shifted really poorly, or he launched it, without the launch button. There are any number of reasons why a newer player with a less upgraded car will have a bad run, so I'm not too concerned about that. We want to see the guys that have some experience with cars that are generally better to kind of gauge where you're actually falling into. Now, if I am in fact in this lobby for a long time with this car and stable, then this car actually turned out to be pretty decent. One of the initial problems I had with this car when I first tested it in live is I didn't feel like it had any lobby advantage, and it should based on all the numbers, but it wasn't showcasing it. That could be any number of other reasons too. The opponents that are available. We got a bunch of small updates recently, that a big and a small update, which can throw off the lobby. But again, 10.7, 10.8. So if this is in fact a lobby where people normally run somewhere between 10.5 to 11, okay, because in any given lobby, assuming this is approximately a 10.7 lobby, you can have cars that run one lobby faster, one lobby slower, and sometimes 2-3 lobbies faster if they're down-tuned like a Porsche. So, or they can run 9s. But the point is that if it is in fact in that lobby, I'm going to show you my dyno, and then we'll be able to kind of gauge if this car is in fact competitive. I am running a 10.397 dyno. I was landing against cars that are generally running 10.5 to 10.7s, meaning I don't have to run my dyno most of the time to win. That'll make the car more stable. So my initial assessment was that it didn't carry lobby advantage easily with this setup, but then slowly it seems to have settled itself into a slightly more lobby advantage situation, and now the question is whether I can maintain it. The car doesn't run any major upgrades. I tried to pull some stage 6s using parts crates, and unfortunately the game likes to give you the crappy ones, so I said, that's enough. I'm just going to live with stage 5 for now. If in the future this becomes important for something, then I'll think about it. But 2 nitrous, 3 body, 3 tire, and 5 transmission puts you in a 10.398 dyno with a little bit of tweaking. You can actually make it faster than that or slower, but I'm trying to kind of fall into a lobby edge where potentially with the lobby advantage the car will become even more advantageous. The other piece I haven't even bothered to figure out is the shift pattern. This car probably can run under its dyno slightly with proper shift pattern. That's just something you play around with or look for videos on max shift pattern, then adjust it accordingly. You should be good. So what is the ultimate conclusion on this car? Well, it was worth the effort. It's certainly not worth real money, but it was definitely worth it to get this far with the event overall. The good news is the KTM GTX only required 1 or 2 strong stage 6s to make it. But if you were unlucky and your GTX got intake turbo and engine first, well then, unfortunately you'd be stuck with quite a few stage 6s before you hit that 8.3 mark you needed to beat the event. Overall, the Solus GT is a worthy addition to your garage. It's an interesting and probably useful live racer, and it looks really cool. And Foley Max is probably going to be in the top of the hierarchy right now. But as we know, natural motion will make the top car change almost every few seasons. So having the fastest car at this moment is really pretty meaningless. In any case, that is my runs to finish and win the Solus GT, and then my quick build of the Solus GT and live racing. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the video, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to make them. I like seeing comments and questions asked. I try to respond to them. If you like my channel, subscribe, hit the bell, and you get notifications when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.